You call me a saint, but you know I'm a stranger, all willing and able to do what you want. You think I'm a thing.
All right, guys, good morning. Ice King here, Smarter Options. Real quick, so redoing this video, man, I just felt like I was unprepared the last time and I felt like I butchered it, so I'm going to do this one more time. That's going to be a little bit quicker, okay? So we're going to go over regular versus hidden divergence. Okay, so regular divergence. This is where you can anticipate a pivot, okay? A reversal. So when you have a divergence, that is where you compare your price action to a momentum oscillator. That could be really RSI, it could be MACD, it could be CCI, which is the commodity channel index, Stoic. Okay, there's lots of different ones out there. All right. So real quick, regular divergence. A bullish regular divergence is when you have the price action has lower lows and the oscillator has higher lows. Okay. A regular bearish divergent is where you have higher highs, price has higher highs, and the oscillator has lower highs. Okay. We'll go into some examples here in just a minute. Then you have hidden divergences. The difference with the hidden divergences, that means it's a continuation. Okay. So that would be, a bullish hidden divergence would be where, and they're harder to see. Okay. So you got to practice a little bit more. But that is where you would see price action would have higher lows, but the oscillator would have lower lows. Okay. This is a sign that the bullish trend will continue. And then there's bearish hidden, which is where you have lower highs and the oscillator has higher highs. Okay. So I've drawn some out of some of these charts. This is our student view. Okay. I'll post a link to this in the channel. It's already been posted before. Some of you guys have it. You just need to go to this again and just refresh it. All of our old stuff is here. We still have the levels that you can put on if you want to. Okay. And we still have, you can click this right here. Here's that linear regression model. And you can actually, this is a momentum indicator also. You could use this the same way. Okay. Which actually we can leave this up for a minute. I can kind of show you guys how you can use either one of these. All right. You can use these on all different time frames. Okay. I labeled these. So if it's green, it's bullish. If it's red, it's bearish. And then H stands for hidden. R stands for regular. Okay. But these will be on the charts drawn for you guys. So this is MNQ. And let's just take a look real quick at some of the ones. I just drew a couple on here. So looking at the 15-minute chart here. Okay. We have right here, we have a 15-minute regular bullish divergent. And it here you can see we have higher lows on the oscillator. Okay. You can use either the histogram or the MACD. It doesn't really matter. If they both agree, all the better, but they don't have to agree. So here, so we have higher lows, but we are getting lower lows in the price action. That's a regular bullish divergent. And you can see what's interesting here is each time we touch, so even if you would do it right here, okay, at this turn, we got to raise up. And what normally happens is you go back and you retest. It means you're going to resistance to retest, okay? This one wasn't quite ready. It got rejected, came back down lower. But once again, we got a lower low, but we got a higher low it's still higher than it was before, right? So this is still in play. So like down here, you could have averaged down or gone in again, whichever. And now we successfully broke through. So now this would become support, right? That support held. And there you go. Even again, we could draw from here to, oh no, we can't, because this time the low is higher, so that doesn't work anymore. All right. So yeah, so there's one. Okay, here's another one. Let's see, from here all the way to here, right? I know what you guys are thinking. There's a lot between there, so let's go look at that. Okay, let's look at some of these points. Let's look at from here to here. Sure, I'll move that down just a little bit. Okay, so let's look from right there to right there. Okay, that was to a higher low. We had lower lows, and sure enough, we got a bounce. It was a pivot. Okay, but we got rejected at resistance. We came back, but each time we came to one of these new lower lows, right, or one of these lows, each time it was a bounce. Okay, look right there, bounce. This is how you can tell when things are going to change direction. And on the longer term, this was still playing out, and I'm sure you could probably find some bearish divergence in here. Okay, and here's one on the 15-minute chart. So here we got a new higher high, but we got a lower high. Okay, that is a bearish hidden divergent. When your price action is a lower high and your oscillator has a new higher high, that is a bearish hidden divergent, which means that the bearish trend is expected to continue. So we were in a downtrend. So this resistance, that tells you this resistance was going to hold and it was going to go down and test a support. And sure enough, look, we had a support right here. You can see that's where we're butting up against, right? Go back, you can see there was a support there. And we came back and we tested and it held. Okay. And then we got a new higher high. Okay, but this no longer was in play. Okay, this particular one, because now they're about the same height, and that's just not enough. But if we do go look here, if we get a higher high, okay, so here's a small one. So we get a higher high with a lower high. Oh, excuse me. That's lower low. With a lower high, like right here, okay, that is a so higher high, lower high, that's a regular bearish divergent. Okay, and you can see, no matter where you would have taken it up here, as this was holding, you could have seen that that was going to go down lower and retest this support again, and it's still holding currently. Okay. Just so you guys can see it here, this works on this oscillator as well. So here on the histogram, right, we got a new lower high, higher high. That is a regular bearish divergent. So it'll work on, it can work on either of these. Okay. Let's see here. Is there any more that we have one on the one? We had put some on the 1 hour. Let's just go look at the 1 hour real quick so you guys can see it. Okay. So on the 1 hour here, we got a new higher high, but we got a lower high. Okay. That is a 1 hour hidden divergent when you get a lower high, but you get a higher high. Okay. So here you can see that was going to be a pivot point. All right. So these are some things you can look for, right? I mean, pretty easy to go back through and look at look at charts and price action and see. Now, obviously, the bigger you go, the further out you go, it's going to take longer to happen, right? And all this means is going down to support. So maybe that's as low as it goes. Maybe it goes a little bit lower. I can't predict that, right? I just can tell you that that's going to be a pivot point. Now, if you go out on bigger time frames, like I said, your supports will be lower and higher, so you can better predict where that's going to go. All right. That'd be another one right there. Lower high, higher high, right? So that would be a bearish hidden divergent right there also. From right there. Because we got a new higher high down here, but we got a lower high here. So same thing. If you want to, I mean, like I said, it works from different places. Okay. Now, like I said, but on this oscillator, we didn't see that as clearly, right? I mean, I don't really see that. We didn't really get a new higher high, but on this oscillator, we did. So your different oscillators can show you different things. I mean, there's some indicators out there that will use all the oscillators, and I'll show you that here in a minute too. All right, go back to the 15-minute chart here quick. Let's just go look at a couple stocks. We'll go look at Apple. Okay. I think I stuck all these on the 15-minute charts just because I didn't want to draw on different time frames. Right, but I wanted to show you guys a couple things here. So here we have a new lower high, but a new higher high. Okay, and actually same thing on the chart below it, or on the oscillator below it. We got a new higher high while we got a new lower high. Okay, that's a hidden bearish divergent. So, and now on MACD, it had it right here. Now on this oscillator, it actually pinned it right up at the top area. Okay, maybe even a little bit late. But the important thing to realize here is if you had taken a put on Apple based on this, right? Okay, as long as we don't all of a sudden get a new higher high, which is not very likely, okay, this is in play. So even though it ran up and you would have been, so went from 163, but let's say you shorted it right here because you thought that was the confirmation. So let's say you shorted at 163, ran up to 166. You don't need to panic. Your play is still, I mean, now it's running up and getting higher, and you have a lower MACD. It's coming down. That should give you, it's getting exhausted. Okay. And sure enough, it came down, hit support, failed, hit support, failed, and came down to finally right here. All right. So here we have a 15-minute regular bearish divergent. Okay. And this is like I said, so I kind of talked about this in the last video, but we're like I said, we're redoing it. So if we look at these different points here, okay, so say we go to right here, it went down, that worked, and then it ran back up. Now, if you didn't exit on this first one, because that's not a real, I mean, it didn't quite, there's a support, but I really probably would have expected it to come down to here, okay, and it didn't, and it ran back up. Okay, well, now my histogram's a little bit higher, but this divergent is still in play. This is where you could average down, okay? Don't just average down because it looks like it make your option cheaper. There's no reason to just lose more money. But when you have a divergent that's still in play, absolutely average down. You could average down on this run up and it would have played out just fine. Okay. Another one here, and here's one on the histogram. Okay, so here we have lower highs, but we got a higher high on the histogram. That is a 50, as on the 15-minute chart, this is a hidden bearish divergent. Lower high, higher high. Okay, and sure enough, we came down and expected to test support, okay, somewhere down in this range, and it did. And now we're bouncing. Okay, we still haven't formed a new histogram on the other side though, so this move might not be done going down. Okay, we'll see, and then we see. Just depends. This hasn't formed out yet. Here's a 15-minute hidden bear or bullish divergent. Okay, so hidden. So higher lows. Okay, but here we got lower lows. We got a lower low from this low to this low, right? Higher low, lower low. That is a hidden bullish divergent, showing you that this support was going to hold. And this is where you need to keep charting out your divergences to figure out when to get out of plays and when to stay in them. So you're in this play, okay? And now we see this start to rotate and come up. All right, right here, right? So this would have been a place to exit based on the new divergent that you're seeing on this 15-minute hidden one. What the heck is that? Okay, oops, I didn't mean to delete that, sorry. All right. Let's see what else. Airbnb, doesn't look like I did any, but let's just look real quick and see if we see one. Yeah, we do. We do see one. Okay. Here we're getting really right here, right? On this low right here, we're getting higher lows. We got a higher low right there, and we got a higher low right here. But yet we got lower lows and lower lows right here. I mean, so each of those were lower than this point. And each time that was a bounce. Came back up, got rejected, came back up, and this time it went up above. Okay. But now so far, this is a slightly bearish divergent because now we're getting a lower high. Okay. But we're getting a higher high on both the MACD and on our histogram down here. Okay. So we've gotten higher highs. So when you get a lower high on the price action and a higher high on the oscillator, that's a bearish hidden divergent. This is all labeled out in the live stream channel. I typed it all out for you guys so you can see it. Okay. But so this shows this resistance is going to hold, and so far it has. Adobe, here's one. We got new lower highs, and this same thing, guys. It happened both times. So price action was down, but MACD was slightly higher or even, and it still shows you a nice, it's going to be a pivot point. So here, and it ran up for a second, but ultimately it worked out. Okay. And then happened again right here. Okay. Here's a bullish divergent because we're getting lower lows, but in that same time frame, we're getting higher lows. Okay. That would be that's going to be a pivot point. All right. I did one AMC. So here's a 15-minute hidden, lower high, higher high. Here's a 15-minute regular bullish. Okay. Lower lows, but yet we were getting higher lows on the bottom histogram. Okay. Which showed us that this down here somewhere it was going to bounce, and it didn't. It ripped up. Okay. Once again, ran up to retest a resistance. All right. AMD has had some good ones, right? So lower highs, okay, lower highs, higher highs. This is a bearish hidden divergent. Up here. Oh, well. type it again. 15-minute hidden. Okay, and sure enough, that resistance held, came down. Okay, here's a 15-minute regular bearish. You can see we were getting higher highs but lower highs. 15-minute regular lower lows, higher lows. Okay, and each time it bounced off those levels. So when you hear Amina talk about a bullish dividend up, I mean, she's looking at probably the 4-hour chart or 2-hour chart. She's looking for more. I mean, this is intraday plays, right? We're looking on the 15-minute chart. These are going to be quick 1-2 day moves. If you want to do leaps or swings, you got to find better setups. Now, be careful right now because the intense selling pressure is, can throw the bigger ones out of whack, which, I did notice some of them, you'll find ones that do fail. Okay. Amazon, I posted this on my channel. We're going to go back and revisit this. But and I think I looked at this one on the 1 hour. So here you can see lower highs, higher highs. And what we're seeing right now is, okay, is we're getting this. We were getting lower lows with higher lows. That's bullish divergence, okay? Lower lows, but higher lows. And that happens here and on MACD, okay? But now, so we're going to come up, and we're at a resistance right now, but most likely I think we're going to come up to this 2380 level to retest. And then we'll see, right? If we get a new high with a lower high MACD, then, or we get a new lower high here, for example. So if we come up and this doesn't come up any higher, right, we would have a higher high with a lower high. Okay, and the price can come up all the way up to here to make that happen. And that would be a hidden bearish divergent that we're going to continue back down into the downturn. But we've got to see this happen first to where we keep a lower high. So we have to wait for the pivot. I think that's all I drew out for right now. That gives you guys a basis to get started. Once again, copy and paste this. Oh, okay. So one other thing, there is one more. So like I said, you guys know how to hide and unhide this stuff. There's an eye right there, right? Here you can see these are EMA lines, daily EMAs. You can see that we're struggling to get above this 20 EMA or this 9 EMA. Here I put another indicator down here, and this just hides them. Okay, but right here, this is meant for the 1 hour chart. Okay, and it will tell you if it notices divergences or not. And the H1 or H and R mean hidden and regular. Green is bullish, red is bearish. And when you're on the 1 hour chart, okay, so look at the settings here real quick. It's looking at the 1226. So when you're on the 1 hour chart, it's looking at the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the 1 day. And that's just because of how it multiplies these. So here's the 1 hour, while you're on the 1 hour, right? This is 4 times this, so that's the 4 hour, and then this is 6 times that, so that's the 24 hour. So H1 means a hidden divergence on the 1 hour chart. R2 means a regular divergence on the 4 hour chart. And you can see when we get like an R2, right, how much more of the move we get as compared to a R1. So here's a hidden, it went from 189 down to 184. Okay, so I mean, and here's an R3. So that's on the 1-day chart. You can see how much more of a move we got. Okay, but it also takes longer to play out. January 28th to February 10th. Here's what a hidden bearish divergent on the 1-day chart, and it took February 22nd to March 7th. Okay, regular divergence on the 1-hour chart, quick move, bearish divergent hidden on the 2-hour chart, going down. Okay, this is looking at, I believe it looks at several of the different, this is a MACD one. So this is a MACD div indicator. Okay, so if you want to just look at this, you can do that. Here's an R1, and then here was a H1, which didn't really play out very well. But then we got a regular one right here, and it pushed down nice. H1 and the R1, which gapped down first, but then it did work. Like I said, if you want bigger moves, here's one that failed. Here's a hidden bearish divergence on the 2-hour, and it did not work out. Okay, and we can go look at the 2-hour real quick and see if we can see that. What day was that on? That was on December 31st. Okay. Alexa, off. Sorry. Okay, so it was on December 31st. All right, it was right here. Yeah, really, I don't see. And don't be wrong, guys, are indicators, so it's not always going to be correct. That was so it was looking for a higher high and a lower low. Oh, it would have been the 4-hour chart. I'm sorry. December 31st on the 4-hour chart. Just see if we can see what it was looking at. I guess. Yeah, see, that's not making sense because it should have been looking for a. Maybe this is what it was looking at. So here's our lower high. Here's our lower high, and we got a. Okay, so here's what it was looking at. See, I wouldn't have probably charted this because it wasn't. It's still below. So this is where this thing can mess up, right? So I probably wouldn't have looked at this because it was below the 0 line. So I still count that as a bottom, but I wouldn't have looked at this. So here it was getting a lower high with a higher high. That's a hidden bearish divergent, which I guess did play out okay. I mean, it did work actually because it on December 31st, right, that was really about the low. So it didn't really work. That did not work out at all. I wouldn't chart this stuff if it's below like that. Like right here to here, I wouldn't have used this as a point of reference. Because meanwhile here, yeah, that played out just fine. I would have looked at probably more like this. That's just fine. Yeah, I wouldn't have looked at this one personally. So this is where indicators aren't always the best, guys. Like I said, so I mean, it's better if you can go look at them yourself, but this will definitely still help you. But once again, it's for the 1-hour chart. So you look at the 1 hour chart. All right. So yeah, I'm going to save this for you guys. I'm going to go post it in the room. And good luck today. And we will see you guys in chat. And I'll do a live stream tomorrow morning. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
On track, now we gon' way up.